G'day folks, here's my top 20 albums for 2022. G'day folks, welcome back to the channel. This here is a list of my top 20 albums for 2022. It was a pretty good year, to tell the truth, and a really good year for death metal, so if you don't like death metal, tough luck, because I do. I kind of like waiting a little while on doing this. I don't like doing them at, the New Year's Eve sort of style, because honestly I pick up a number of other people's ideas, bands that I missed at the end. I'll after the suspense is over, I'll give you a list of various ones that I haven't included because I just haven't really had enough chance to listen to them, really, to tell the truth, or they just arrived. So, but yeah, it was a damn good year, I gotta say, so enjoy. I'm trialling filming outside under a veranda, so there'll probably be lots of cars driving past because we live on a corner, so hopefully it won't be too noisy. Probably be stupid galahs and cockatoos flying over screeching at me as well, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's summer here in Australia, so it is kind of warm, I gotta say, so if I'm sweating, apologies, but this is all being helped by Sunday Road Brewing's beer, Summer Samba, a blackberry and raspberry sour. Oh yeah, very tasty. Certainly helping me along. First up at number 20 we have Morbific with Squirm Beyond the Mortal Realm. This is a good old-fashioned Finnish death metal, one of my favourite styles. It's kind of a mix between Rippikoulu and Autopsy, so certainly fine by me. I reckon it's a bit more polished than their first album. Also for that ominous seep of putridity. I really enjoy the ridiculously low bass sound on this. It works kind of strangely with the guitars that are not quite as deeper sounding, so it kind of follows in tradition of a couple of Finnish death metal albums over the years that just have a weird sort of dry kind of odd sound. But yeah, once you've listened to it once or twice, it kicks in and sounds bloody awesome. I love the murky slow section of Suicide Sanctum, and there's some damn good groove on this as well, so I'm fairly certain I featured this in probably my most recent collection update, so check that out for a bit more rambling about it, but yeah, killer album. Number 19 is Triac with Pure Joy, Numb Grief, Stricken Animals, which came out on RSR Records. I don't actually own this one just yet. It is in the mail, it'll be here soon, I promise. Yeah, this is 16 minutes of pure grind. I suppose it's an album. It's got enough bloody tracks on it. Yeah, this is a very, very quick, very fast grind. It does have some sort of noise rock kind of elements to it. It really kind of just add a bit more punch to the grind when it kicks back in. There's even a few slow moments like on Salted Slug, which, yeah, gives it some dynamics, but I tell you what, that drummer's a quick boy. So yeah, this is just fast, furious, killer grind. Well worth checking out. Bloody awesome. Number 18 is Worm with Bluenothing. This came out on 20 bucks spin and it's a bloody ripper. It's only really an EP, but it's long enough for my liking. Yeah, I love these guys. Album last year, I think, Foreverglade. It was just bloody killer. And this one follows on. It sort of goes a bit back to their black metal ways in parts. The first two songs are pretty sort of disembowelment-y, evoking-y sort of style, death doom, just with a bit of black stuff added in. This one's got Phil Tugas from Faceless and about a million other bands on sort of lead guitar, and it sounds pretty bloody nice, especially on the third song, Invoking the Dragon Moon, which is just a nice sort of instrumental. And then the fourth song is like full symphonic black metal, Dimmu kind of style, so yeah, very impressive. And yeah, very much looking forward to another album from these chaps, so good work. Number 17 is Tzompantti with an album title I'm not even going to try and pronounce. You can read it down the bottom. Yeah, this came out also on 20 bucks spin, and yeah, this is it's kind of beat down death metal almost, but with lots of sort of, I don't know, weird instruments from Central America sort of area. which sounds bloody killer actually. Really helps it. There's apparently Tzompantti means skull rack, which was used for public display of human skulls. Love it. Yeah, so it's got nice sort of chanting and weird percussion, all sorts of stuff going on. Doesn't quite get there as far as the first Nile album for total wackiness, but it's bloody killer. Just nice heavy sort of stuff with just a bit of weirdness to it. Very much enjoy it. Number 16 is Putrefaction sets in with, sorry I gotta read this, repugnant inception of decomposing paroxysm. Okay, this is gore grind sort of stuff from a couple of members of Regurgitated and General Surgery, 2 members from Brazilian grind band Experjo, and also the singer from Lymphatic Phlegm, also from Brazil. So yeah, sort of a super group you could say, but I don't like using that term very much, but tell you what, it's bloody awesome. Definitely sounds like Regurgitate quite a bit. It's unsurprising with Urban writing the riffs. He probably wrote most of Regurgitate as well. So, although the vocals, they're not quite as gory and not quite as varied, but yeah, I still enjoy it very much. It's got a really good punchy production. Kind of reminds me of old sort of, early 2000s Euro grind. So, which is fine by me. It's certainly a style I enjoy. Bottom end works really well on the, I wouldn't say slam bits, but kind of breakdowny kind of bits. Sounds bloody nice. It's got a really good groove on, I've got to read this as well. To soften by soaking, reeking, watery mush collapse. Classy title. And also on Tash Noir, which I'm assuming is maybe Tech Noir from Terminator, who knows. But yeah, bloody excellent. Good old fashioned grind. Number 15 is Corpsessed with Succumb To Rot. This came out on Dark Descent and Misako. More finished death metal, just the way I like it. I really enjoyed the development of this band over the years. They really developed into some killer dynamics in their songs. Really good sort of slow to fast bits and friggin' heavy ass vocals. Production on this is killer. Highlights for me are Sublime Indignation, Spiritual Malevolence and Calling Void, but really the whole thing's killer. They're kind of not too far off their fellow Finns Crypts with nice sort of loud bass and sort of a deep sound. Plus, I just noticed they re-released their first album, Abysmal Thresholds, recently. A re-recorded version, I think, so I'll have to check that out, but yeah, this one's bloody killer. I still don't like the band name though. Number 14 is a split from Anatomia from Japan and Undergang from Denmark, with killer artwork by Daniel from Undergang as usual. This came out on Misako on record, and on CD it came out on Dark Descent. So this is the third split for Anatomia for the 2022. So they put a bit of stuff out, those chaps. This is my favourite one though, I'd say. The first song was like 12 minutes of crawling death doom sort of stuff. That's got plenty of atmosphere, and then the next song's a sort of slightly faster one, which almost reminds me of the just amazing groove in my favourite song of theirs, Severed Infant Waste. Charming title, but damn good song. So yeah, Anatomia side's killer, and Undergang is just 3 songs of Undergang sounding rotten as hell. Just murky death metal. Love it. Number 13 is Sedimentum with Suppuration Morphogenesisaque or something or other. This also came out of Misako, so damn good year for Misako. Good work, Jesus. Yeah, this is sludgy death metal done just right. It's just heavy as buggery, I've got to say. And a few nods to Autopsy and Disma, and yeah, there's even the first and the fourth song have that lovely sort of weird Demolition Cathellist kind of awkward riffing style. But yeah, the title track's slow and heavy as buggery. It's just all around nasty stuff. I couldn't care less that this sounds like a lot of other things, but yeah, it sounds exactly like I like my death metal, so good work, fellas. And yeah, it's a big step up from their 2019 demo that, yeah, could have sounded better. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to see what these chaps are up to next. So yeah, bloody awesome. Number 12 is Immolation with Acts of God. This came out on Nuclear Blast. Yeah, this is their 11th album, I believe. Bloody hell. Still kicking, still going strong though, I've got to say. I reckon this is as good as their last album, Atonement, which to me was a bit of a return to form. I mean, not that their stuff was particularly bad, but I don't know. Atonement and this one just have just a bit of extra vigour to it that I really enjoy. It's also got a bearable kick drum sound, which is very preferable because some of their earlier, not earlier, but slightly more recent albums have, yeah, not the best kick drum sound. But it's, yeah, there's a lot of songs on this for some reason, but and so it is like a double LP, but yeah, none of them are over 5 minutes, so yeah, it's obviously had a lot of material, so good work, fellas. My favourite era is still the Unholy Cult, Close to a Lord Below sort of era, but yeah, I'm really liking this one. Still not quite sure what's happening on the cover. I'm assuming it's Things of Darkness shooting angels. I don't know. And one thing I'll say about Immolation, they don't change their lyrics and they're still very mad at God. Not sure why. But yeah, I don't know how they can keep writing that sort of stuff over and over for 11 albums, but oh, good luck to them. Hopefully that's cathartic for poor Ross. Anyway, yeah, Immolation, killer, as always. Number 11 is Ravenous Dusk with The Dead of Night. This is a demo sort of thing that came out on Seance Records. Yeah, this is Wrath from Nazul and Icor, as well as Balaam from Pestilential Shadows and Nazul. This is them doing sort of kind of 90s style black metal, which, and it does sound a bit like sort of, you know, in the Nightside Eclipse a bit, but it also sounds a hell of a lot like Nazul, unsurprisingly, which is fine by me. This has also got a summoning feel on the first song, which works really well. I really love the organ sound on this, it's bloody killer. So yeah, it's just pretty damn fast, pretty screechy, but lots of keyboards and yeah, I wouldn't say symphonic, but not too far off. I assume it's got a drum machine on it, but it's not really noticeable to tell the truth. And this version comes with like a download as well, and very spiffy looking tape with, I don't know how they do that. They stick it on, I guess, but looks bloody cool. And yeah, it also comes, the download comes with like 4 kind of dungeon synth songs. Still not quite sure exactly what dungeon synth is, other than bodgy Casio shit, but this sounds a hell of a lot better than bodgy Casio shit. Regicide's probably my favourite of those, with a great sort of medieval kind of sound to it, but yeah, this is bloody killer. I'm very much looking forward to them doing a full album at some stage, so yeah, Ravenous Dusk, good work. Number 10 is Faceless Burials with The Foothills of Deliration. This Melbourne boys done good. This is their, 3rd album, and probably their best, I reckon. Well, the first album's pretty bloody killer too. This is, yeah, technical death metal, and yeah, not a style I'm usually a giant fan of, but I usually, as you can tell, like my death metal rather rawer and nastier and sludgier, but yeah, this is bloody killer. And I think it really helps that there's very few solos on here. I don't know, a lot of those overly techo bands just get a bit too wanky with the excessive solos, but there's only a couple on here, and it, I don't know, it just works really well. They've got a much more sort of rhythmic changing sort of style, and you know, lots of twisting and turning sort of riffs, yeah. And I really enjoy the slow down mellowness of the title track as well, but yeah, killer bloody work. And yeah, they were awesome live. Check out my live gig as well as, or gig review, as well as footage of one of their songs. But yeah, great band. Number 9 is Fleshrot with Unburied Corpse. This is yet again on Miss Sacco and Ojo, so yeah, good work, fellas. Put out a heap of great stuff this year. Yeah, this is Texas sort of semi-brutal death metal. It's a bit slammy, a bit brutal, but mostly just death metal, which is damn fine by me. It's not that long, so I've got to say I've listened to this a number of times over the years since I've got it. It's just that right level of caveman for me, and yeah, it's got a lovely snarly sort of bass sound. The vocals are pretty deep, but they're not just that ridiculous burping, stupid, you know, indistinguishable level. There's a bit of variety there. So yeah, just killer, slightly slammy death metal. Number 8 is Ghostsmoker with Grief. This came out on Goat Sound Records, and yeah, some killer sludge from Melbourne. Yeah, love this band. I saw them at one gig this year. What was that? One of those Sunburn gigs, I think. And yeah, they were killer live. But yeah, this is very, very heavy, doomy sort of sound with kind of screamed, not quite Iron Monkey level, but not far off that sort of type vocals. The second song, Eternal Void, is one of my favourites, with just a killer speed up that's really effective. Massgrave's another ripper with a killer groove, and yeah, it's just heavy as hell, and for once not death metal and not from Misako. So yeah, plus it's got like suitably doomy cover art with, you know, evil robed bloke sitting on his throne while the world burns. Love it. So yeah, definitely check that one out. I don't know if there was only 150 I think records pressed, but yeah, they got a Bandcamp which is below, so definitely have a listen, because yeah, just killer sludge, just up my alley. Number 7 is Mortuous with Upon Desolation. This came out on, I think, their own label, Carbonized, so check that out. These guys are just pretty straight death metal from San Jose, California, I believe. It's reasonably basic, but it does have some extra little bits and pieces thrown in. There's like, I think it's the song Nothing, the second song. It's got just a bit of violin in it, and then a full My Dying Bride sort of bit, and then a full Disembowelment sounding sort of bit. So they change it up quite a bit, which I really appreciate. It's just well written, just, I wouldn't say mature death metal, but just expertly written, you could say, and a really good production from Greg from Earhammer. Bloody hell, it sounds awesome. This is not quite as unhinged as their first album, but there's some really good bits in this, and really cool crawling sort of doom bits. But yeah, a lot of it's just nice mid-paced killer sort of stuff. I saw these guys, thankfully they didn't play the Sunday night at the Eternal Warfare Fest I went to in Portland a couple of years ago. Killer festival, and they bloody ruled it, you know, amongst a ton of other killer bands like Mortiferum and Triac and a shitload of good ones. Yeah, the Mortuous were awesome, and I'm really glad they didn't play this Sunday, because I was a little tipsy after a slightly too long trip to Hair of the Dog Brewery, and yeah, slightly too many yummy, what are they, barrel-aged porters or something. Anyway, I digress. Beer. So yeah, Mortuous, killer stuff. Number 6 is Hokugo Grind Time 2, the second raid, with the cabbage on the cover and the back. Not sure why. This is Andrew Lee from Rip to Shreds and Skull Smasher, I think. His solo muck around sort of grind band where he plays all the instruments and plays them very well. This reminds me heaps of sort of later era Dead Infection, you know, your brain corrosion sort of stuff, as well as Archigathus and early 2000s Czech sort of grind sort of stuff, which I really quite enjoyed. It's just got a really nice groove to it. It's just that perfect mix of catchiness and brutality. Really good production as well. And yeah, you just can't fault it. I've listened to this a heap. It's bloody awesome. Number 5 is a twofer with Morbidity Triumphant from Autopsy and Static Abyss's Labyrinth of Veins albums. So yeah, I've combined these together because they have the same personnel pretty much. The Autopsy one I discussed in further detail in one of my collection updates. But yeah, it's just killer Autopsy stuff. It's probably their best since Tourniquets and whatever the hell that album was called from 2014. And yeah, it just gets better and better each time I listen to it. Just killer stuff, great variety on there. It's got crawling doom as well as faster sort of abscessy sounding stuff, and just, yeah, pretty awesome. And the Labyrinth of Veins, the Static Abyss album, I don't think I've discussed that because I think I bought that before I started doing my collection updates, but yeah, it's Greg, the new bassist for Autopsy, and also the main dude from like Brain Oil and a few other bands, and production provider extraordinaire. It's his sort of muck around project with Chris from Autopsy on drums. It sounds like, reading interviews, it sounds like they slapped it together pretty quickly, but it doesn't really sound like it. It sounds pretty practiced. I must admit the faster stuff doesn't quite mesh as well with the slower stuff on there, but the slow stuff is just crawling sort of doom bits. Feasting on Eyes, the doom bit on that's just, with Chris going crazy on vocals, just amazing sort of stuff. It sort of lacks Eric's sinister solos and Danny's crazy sort of ones, but what solos or sort of lead work there is works very effectively on the slow, scary sounding stuff. And it's also got nice Hellraiser tribute cover art, so yeah, great release by both bands, so definitely worth checking out. Both are on Peaceville. Look to your right, newcomers on the moon. Number 4 is Voivod with Synchro Anarchy, which came out on Century Media. They have many an album, good old Voivod, and like several of theirs, it took me a while for this to grow on me, but when it kicked in, it certainly did. I love the loud sort of bass on it. Snake sounds killer as well. It's nice to listen to genuinely different sort of music. Like there's some bands that sound a bit Voivod-ish, but really, if you heard it, you'd know it. Although I got to say, there is a slight hint of the Young Gods on here, which is certainly not a bad thing at all. It's another great band. I really enjoy the epic second half of Quest for Nothing as well, with just killer soaring vocals. And yeah, it's just Voivod. It's bloody awesome. Number 3 is Negative Plane with The Pact, which came out on Invictus Records. I didn't really expect to like this quite as much. I mean, I've always liked this band. They were good live as well, but yeah, this album's really captured me. I've had it on the car the other day and just left it run like 3 or 4 times in a row. It's just pretty addictive sort of stuff. So it is black metal, but it's not your usual, blasting Norsecore sort of style. It's really varied. Sort of a lot of the old sort of style, and there's your Merciful Fate sort of feel to it occasionally as well. Really interesting lyrics as well, the sort of psychedelic stuff that they maybe used a bit too much on their last album, but yeah, it's just the right levels on this. It's just catchy as hell and just a real ride. It's a very unique sort of sound as well, and just really excellent dynamics for such long songs as well. And it tells an interesting tale of a church built after a pact with the devil. But yeah, it just sounds old but fresh and new as well. So I would highly recommend this to everyone. It's just a wonderful album. Number 2 is Wadge with Grindcore Penitentiary, which came out on Mortville Noise. Apparently it's pronounced Wadge, but I don't care. I'm going to pronounce it the Australian way. Bloody Wadge, mate. This is a one-man drum machine kind of grind kind of band from Paul Pfeiffer that's been around for since 1991 or something or other. I love this band since I first heard them when we did radio show. We used to play them pretty regularly. And yeah, it's just rabid sort of stuff. This one is usually his last couple of albums he's had a Hawaii obsession, so there's like all ticky this and ticky that. This album though is a concept album, you could say, about a grindcore prison, hence the name Grindcore Penitentiary. So it's got all these hilarious bloody lyrics about, Shane Embury and guys from Blasphemy and all sorts of stupid shit in there. I would, if you either buy it on CD or if you get the digital version, it does come with a full sort of booklet that you can look at as a PDF. It's worth it because it's just hilarious. Although I've got to say, it's freaking irritating trying to read the lyrics because they all go upside down and around. But yeah, anyway. Other than that, it's bloody killer. No, it's Yeah, I love this because he's always used his drum machine just a little bit too, beyond human capability, which I really appreciate. It's what I look for with a drum machine sort of band. But the riffs are freaking massive as well. But one of my highlights is always his vocals. They're just so aggro. Apparently he's a nice chap, but just those vocals are just intensely rabid. It's just killer stuff. So I love this band. Been going for donkey's years and still putting out the killer stuff, so I'd highly recommend checking out the Maudeville Bandcamp on that. There was like a fancy version that's sold out now that came with like a specimen bag and all this weird stickers and sorts of crazy, just a personalised note. I was very tempted to buy it, but postage to Australia was a bit ridiculous, so I waited, and then Brad from Radical Boris got the CD in, so here we are. But yeah, Wadge. It's Wadge, not Wodge. Yeah, what does a band know? They don't even know how to pronounce their own bloody name. So yeah, Wadge, killer stuff. And my number one album for the year is Innumerable Forms with Philosophical Collapse. This came out on Profound Lore, and as you can see, I don't actually own it yet. Should be here any second. No doubt that this and Triac will arrive tomorrow after I've finished filming this, but oh well. I've listened to this a heap. This is Death Doom stuff from Boston, and yeah, it's just amazing. This is Justin Del Toro's like third release this year after Summerlands and Dream Unending, neither of which quite made the list. Summerlands was just a bit too like 80s glam sounding to me, and Dream Unending hasn't quite grabbed me just yet. I'll have to give it a bit more of a listen, I think, but this, holy dooly, this is just, and I hate to use the word, but cavernous death metal, just heavy as friggin' buggery. Just massive riffs like in Deified Tyrants and Thrall, really deep killer vocals, and some really nice sort of lead work occasionally. Sort of nice sort of cathedral-like sounding solos, but yeah, I saw these guys a couple of times actually, like MDF 2011, Chaos in Chaos, and also when they toured Australia. Actually had a couple of the band members staying at our house. And they were very good house guests. I think they appreciated having a nice comfy couch to sleep on. But yeah, this is just pure death metal. Just love it stuff. This has got both songs off their 2020 Despotic Rule demo. They obviously sound a hell of a lot better here. The production on this is just stellar. This started as a one-man band. I don't know whether he still records it all himself now, but he now has a full band for live purposes at any rate. I'm not sure if they also do the recordings. I'm assuming so. I couldn't tell because I don't have my record yet. But yeah, just killer deep-ass vocals on this as well. So yeah, if you want to hear some quality death metal, Innumerable Forms, number one by a mile. So that's my top 20 list. I'll give some honourable mentions to even more death metal that came out this year. It was this fabulous year for death metal. There was also Grave Infestation, Cryptworm, Imprecation, Blasphematory, Bloodbath, Leprophiliac, Sluggerthor, Ripped to Shreds, Disma, and Trivium Foul. Just all put out killer albums, but not quite killer enough to make me list. I'll also mention there's a batch of stuff that I haven't really either got around to even listening to at all, or just hasn't quite absorbed yet. Cloud Rat, that Altars album, I'm kind of regretting that I didn't go and see them when they played in Canberra a month or two ago. There's new Arismenda, Summerlands, Parasitic Equilibrium, their new one, as well as that Mispriming, or whatever the hell they're called, from Iceland. I've seen a heap of my mates rambling on about how great they were, so I'll have to check that out sometime. But anyway, thanks for watching. This was my top 20 list, slightly late, but hope you enjoyed it. And feel free to leave your top 20 list down the bottom, or any other feedback you like. Enjoy. Cheers.